Here you go, your Christmas homework. Read the screenplay because the screenplay is exceptionally good, and you as actors should be reading screenplays all the time. So, what are the two conversations in It's a Wonderful Life? And it's pretty obvious, but we're going to leave it there and let you guys figure it out. And then from that, study the three-act structure of the screenplay itself, and just get a sense of what's the whole of the screenplay. So here, what's the theme? What are the two conversations? And how does the screenplay work on its three-act structure? Then what I'd like you to do is choose your favorite scene and break it down. And break it down in its total scene analysis. So there is a time during the Christmas holidays when you just can't really, you just have had enough of family and you need a moment to escape and go do some work. Say, I've got some homework to do, I've got to work on my acting, and then go and study It's a Wonderful Life, which is, going to put you in a great mood. It's going to put you in a Christmas mood, and moreover, it's going to be, it's Frank Capra, so you're talking about some of the best scene analysis work that you can do. Somewhere inside of that scene, you're going to start thinking about what is the emotional core truth, what's the emotional preparation, and then what I'd like you to do is emotionally prepare. So good old George is about to commit suicide and has given up hope. All George's friends come to his rescue at the end, and he realizes that there's love all around him. So emotionally prepare those two things, I think. Practice those inside. You're an actor, which means you are a life researcher. You are a life explorer. You are an investigator of existence. You are a student of life, and what does that mean? So you're never not working. You are and should be obsessed, gloriously obsessed. Second thing I want you to do over the holidays is during conversations with your Aunt Mary at the dinner table, when you're going to the family reunion, when you're having dinner with your husband, when you're going to, especially it's exciting, when you're going to a Christmas party that's being held for, the Christmas orphans, people who don't have any family, and you're going to some stranger's house, is you hurl yourself into social situations and love them because it's a gigantic petri dish for the actor. And basically what you're doing is studying everybody's behavior. So what I'd like you to do is actually carry a little notebook, a little logbook. If you want to call it your Christmas logbook, you can do that, but take a little logbook. And then and you have your little pencil in your back pocket, and you got to escape to the bathroom and write down notes, But basically, someone says something, Uncle Charlie or Aunt Mary or somebody, or your husband, your sister, your brother, your mom. Somebody says something, does something, reacts in a certain way, and you've got to go, what was the intention behind that? What was the action behind that, or the verb behind that? What were they doing? Right? Good. Write that down. And then go, okay, so for what objective? To make him guilty, make him take responsibility, to make him see that she's in pain, and you go, oh, that's so interesting. And then you go, now what's the backstory to that? And then work it out. Now, if you know the people, like I know my stepsister, that's great. If you don't know these people, then you can have a little fun and be creative about their backstory and take a guess at what's going on. I also would like to throw this at you, which is the person at the Christmas party or at the family Christmas party, or like the Christmas party you're going to as a guest. I was at a Christmas party in Montreal where my brothers, and I knew nobody that was there. Find the person that most annoys you. Right off the bat, there's that woman who talks like, or the guy who's telling you like it is, or find that guy who's hiding in the corner, which is what I did. There's this lovely guy named George who was basically just hiding in a corner. And I just beelined to them, and I'm just trying to pull out all the story. Like, I want to know all about them. So what do you do? And, oh, that's interesting. And how do you know this person? And how's Christmas? And then I ask specific questions like, do you enjoy Christmas? Or, or are your parents still alive? Or, and I just get into them right away. So I'm extracting narrative from them so that I can learn from them. And then that person's going to give me the most interesting actions, and I'm going to be able to go sit in the bathroom and write all that stuff down. Now, number 3, the last thing. First thing was scene analysis and emotional preparation, working on a scene. The second one was studying people's behavior. But the third one is I'd like you to discover over the holidays your favorite character you've discovered. Son. And write down a little bit of what the behavior was. It was so odd how they kept on when they were talking, doing this thing, or how stroking the chin, or the nodding of the head, or they would do this thing with their ear, or as he talked, he'd always bring his shoulders in, or something physical like that. And then what you do is you write it down in full detail and study the shit out of it, memorize it. And what you're going to find is the physicality is completely born subconsciously of this narrative or this story that this person believes in. And you keep practicing it. And as you're trying to understand the person, you're going to go, oh, I get it. They're like shrugging about life. And there's deep down, you go, oh, this person feels like life has dealt them a bad card. And no matter what you say, you go, it's so beautiful out. You're like, yeah, it's so cold. They negate it and shrug off life. And you're practicing that. So you're creating really a character, and then walk around in that physical characterization, then go back, then listen to what they say and write down some of their behavior, and then go back and practice it again, and practice it. But you're enacting Uncle Dan's behavior as you're hiding behind the house in the snow, and you're doing this thing that Uncle Dan does, and you practice it and you practice it, and you go like, it's like the man's been so stressed that every time he has a thought that goes past 2 on the scale of 10 of like importance, he has to like hold the thought in, and he doesn't realize he's doing it. It's just something that he does at the dinner table, but you love it. You fascinated by it. And then you qualify it with, you define it by what is he doing exactly, and you practice that thing. It's great. And then you do it for like a couple of days, and you're doing a few more of them, you're writing the book, you throw it on the quad, and then forget it. Just absolutely forget it, because you got to be on to the next thing. And then 6 months later, you're in a rehearsal for your stage play, or you're in an audition for a film, or you're on set as a guest star on a TV show or whatever, or you're in acting class. And like 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, in the moment when the script is demanding that the character who's feeling stressed is trying to keep his shit together, because his objective is to get the answer, but he just can't, suddenly the dialogue is, give me a second, I just need to work this out. You suddenly go, just give me a second, I need to work this out. And your Uncle Dan basically comes out of you 2 years later. That's how it works. But you wouldn't be in charge of that. That's because it's been embedded inside of your brain, and it's going to come out when it comes out, because you've attached it to that action. And when you play that action, then that'll show up. So what you're doing is you're actually increasing your humanity palette. You're increasing your possibility of understanding people. So assignment number 1 is, when you have alone time, go study the script, It's Wonderful Life. It's online at IMDSB or IMSDB, and read the screenplay, find a scene, break the scene down, analyze the scene, put it up on the quad. Assignment number 2 is when people are playing Scrabble, when they're carving the turkey, when they're have a little bit too much rum and eggnog in them, when you're at the Christmas party, when you're at the office Christmas party, when you're with the family, whatever you're doing. I don't know if you're having Christmas at a Chinese restaurant. Like, study whoever's around you, and from what they're doing, their behavior, and what they're saying, work down into their objectives, intentions, and emotional truth. Why are they doing what they're doing? And study their actions and write it in the logbooks. And then 3 is when you come across some wicked physical characterization, some really fun behavior, that uncle, that crazy uncle, and like my brother. Yeah. It's, in other words, you're an actor. You're always working. You're always working, because it's play. It's exciting.